Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is Monday evening, the 21st of January 2019. Tonight's topic: as China's economy slows, Trump taunts China. We'll discuss recent developments in the Chinese-U.S. trade war and the slowing of China's economy. First, let's take a look at the gold and silver markets. They are now open again. They've been open for an hour, and they are unchanged. Gold at $12.79 an ounce and silver at $15.23. Over on the crypto side, pretty much unchanged. Bitcoin at $35.33, that's flat. Bitcoin Cash at $121.47, that's flat. Ethereum at $115.76, that is down 1.5%. And Litecoin up 0.5% to $30.83. Ethereum Classic at $4.38, down 1.35 cents. Okay, well, before we get into our topic, let's discuss today's Moronica. Uh-oh, we got a moron here.
Presenting the distinguished international news commentator and foreign correspondent,
Smaulgld. This has been an extraordinary week in world affairs.
No, I told Hillary Clinton that that's moronic.
All right, well, today's Moronica is, we've heard many problems or many doomsday scenarios if we were to go through with Brexit. They have been warning the British people they were going to make a grave mistake, that the economy would collapse, and that if they actually go through with Brexit, it would be even worse. Well, now they're saying that they have inflation in United Kingdom, and it's in the form of what you call shrinkflation, where they don't raise the price of the product. So instead of getting a 8-ounce chocolate bar for £1.29 or whatever they charge for a chocolate bar over there, Cadbury's, they will give you a 7-ounce bar or 7.5-ounce bar and charge you the same price, essentially raising the price of your per ounce chocolate. And now they've discovered that's what causes inflation, and it's a thing called Brexit. Now that's moronic. All right, let's get into tonight's topic. And a lot's been going on in the world that's been, actually not a lot's been going on in the world, a lot's been going on in the media that's distracted people from some of the bigger stories. We had this Covington Catholic school encounter between an Indian elder, black Israelites, and them all standing on the steps, and different versions of what happened. No one got hurt. A lot of words passed back and forth, some drumming, but that is occupied. That's been a main story. But what's happened now in economics, it was big news today that China's GDP growth has slowed to the lowest level in years. And that's a big deal, because China essentially took the world out of the 2008-2009 financial crisis by going into overdrive and producing its way out of the crisis. And a lot of China's GDP growth, employment growth, growth in general, has been a function of massive amounts of credit creation, stimulus programs. And anyone who knows anything about stimulus, there comes a point of diminishing returns. And it appears that China has been slowing down. Not that they didn't know this was going to happen. They said over a year and a half ago, the former head of the People's Bank of China mentioned that China could already be at a Minsky moment when you borrow too much money, and no matter how much more you borrow to drive growth, it's not going to happen, and you're going to head down. Now, China was, as a result of that warning, going to go through a deleveraging program where they were going to slow the credit expansion, and they were going to try to convert their economy from being reliant on manufacturing, on building and infrastructure, and try to move their economy to a services economy. The problem they had with real estate building and infrastructure was they had overbuilt. And when you overbuild, you have a problem, because you borrow money to build the projects, And if the projects fill up and you get a return on the revenue, that's great. You pay back the loan. But if you keep building them in excess of what the market demands, and you build the famous Chinese ghost cities, at some point you have to stop building those because the debt that was incurred to build those cities and infrastructure projects and railways and bridges and office towers, if they don't get filled, they're not used, then the debt doesn't get paid. And at some point, you have to stop doing that. So China realized that, and they wanted to move their economy to a services economy. And the Trump tariffs came at exactly the wrong time, because then they realized that in order to keep, they planned their economy, in order to keep that revenue coming in, that they were going to have to, in order to offset the tariffs, they were going to have to give more subsidies, forgive more loans. And now they're at a point where they said to themselves, well, we can't allow the economy just to come to a grinding halt, so we're going to have to reinstitute infrastructure projects, but we're not going to do the types that we've been doing. We're going to do more local, more things like parking lots, where actually there might be a demand and they can get a return on it. It wouldn't just be generating GDP for the sake of generating GDP, creating credit, and then not having it paid back and adding more non-performing loans to the portfolio. But Trump posted just a few minutes ago, or hours ago, China posts slowest economic number since 1990, and he says due to U.S. trade tensions and new policies. Makes so much sense for China to finally do a real deal and stop playing around. So Trump is playing hardball with China, as well as he's playing hardball over the wall, and he's also got the negotiations with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. So Trump is really, he's got his heels dug in on 3 different fronts. But with respect to China, I'm not so sure that China's growth is slowing due to these trade tensions. I think the trade tensions are exacerbating an issue that really started 10 years ago. They went on an unprecedented credit binge. I've seen statistics that they poured more concrete over that 10-year period than the United States poured in 120 years. And that's a result of all of that infrastructure building, those massive cities that they built with the 80-story apartment buildings, office towers, and so on. So these trade tensions really do come at the worst possible time. And I would imagine that China really does have its back against the wall. A lot of people try to say, well, China's going to crush the dollar and China's in the driver's seat, and all they have to do is, instead of exporting the stuff to America, they just consume it themselves and it's all over. Yeah, eventually they might get there. That's kind of what they were trying to do with the deleveraging program, and then converting to a services economy internally. But that's not happening now. They realize they have an issue. They have an issue with a slowing economy. And we saw, and it's interesting, I had the same thought, and Zero Hedge made a comment on it as well, that President Xi Jinping stressed the need to maintain political stability in a rare meeting of China's top leaders. Now, what political stability is he talking about? He's already declared himself basically president for life. That seems pretty stable to me. They're concerned, I'm sure, although they haven't said it outright, but if you have a slowing economy and there are layoffs or there are issues where people aren't making enough money and not making the money, and they've recently moved into these large cities, they don't want a repeat of Tiananmen Square. And it would be much worse this time because, as I mentioned, far more people now living in these cities, and they've grown accustomed to this. I'm not sure they've established the same type of safety net or welfare system that the United States has, with unemployment insurance and all types of food stamps and things like that. I'm not sure they have that in China. Could be wrong, but even if they do have it, do they really have the resources to fund all those programs if things were to go south? Remember, the United States can fund those, as everyone is well aware, through foreign borrowing and through massive demand for United States treasuries, where they can actually fund those programs. China can't just print the yuan. They could, but they could create inflation, and that could have devastating impact on their economy. So it says here, he has stressed the need to maintain political stability a fresh sign the ruling party is growingly concerned about the social implications of a slowing economy, which would probably make him more likely to do a deal. All that gold, I don't have the charts here, but I've shown them before, that show even if you take the outside estimate on how much gold they have, let's say it's 20,000 tons, and that would be gold that is in the country of China that they can somehow roll all up back into one centralized location. At the current prices, that's not going to get them very far. It's only a couple of $1 trillion at the current prices. I know it's not even $1 trillion at the current prices. Even if they were to somehow, which I doubt they'd have the ability to do, revalue it to $10,000, $20,000, they're not even going to come close to their current outstanding liabilities in yuan. So they realize that this gold isn't. The people in America, the gold bugs, keep trying to say gold back yuan, gold, China this and that. The gold is not going to help them at all. It's not going to hurt them, but they are so far in over their head. Gold is not their savior, and they know that. They're not. They don't. It's only the people that tout gold that think somehow China's on solid footing because they have gold. They have other problems, and most of them are debt. But it's not just debt that China has to worry about. They've got this going on, this doxing of people. Here, latest story. If you jaywalk in this particular part of China, you will get your headshots along with your family name, part of your citizen ID, and registration address displayed on large screens at road intersections. Now, this is truly Big Brother, and I'm sure the people living under this, well, some of them, they like this. They think this is good for the country. Others, I'm sure, are not going to like it. So they've got to be very, very careful. Now, the other thing that's going on, besides a slowing economy, let me just show you the slowing economy stories here. China's economy grew at its slowest pace since the financial crisis in the fourth quarter. Game over, game changer. China to crush the dollar. China has gold, petro, yuan, social credit score, Sun Tzu. All that nonsense goes out the window when you deal with real economics, not just gold. Real economics, real credit issues, real non-performing loans, and social issues. And this is big news today. Again, you might not know it because people are talking about an elder Indian with a drum and a kid staring at him as if that is the most important news in the world right now. But China to crush the dollar here. China's 2000 economic growth sinks to 3-decade low. That's what Trump was saying back to 1990. Others are saying they're both close, that it was back around the time of the financial crisis. No matter how you slice it, mate. Yeah, it is a very disturbing development in China, and it's only going to get worse because remember, the tariffs haven't really even all kicked in. The trade imbalance with the United States actually grew over the last 3 or 4 months, and I suspect that was largely due to not just a bit of a lower yuan, but really because of American importers trying to get as much non-perishable goods in from China before all of the tariffs take place or get instituted, and also probably industries and companies in America that import items from China that aren't necessarily impacted by the tariffs, probably as a precautionary measure, may have also imported more stuff, but I don't expect that's going to continue. And also, I know that China, supposedly, for their exporters, they had to give them tax benefits and subsidies to keep it going. Now, China may eventually want to remove its reliance, or this deep reliance that it has on the United States, but again, it's going to be very hard. You don't just do it over a 3-month period and hope to be able to weather the shock. They can't. That's why Xi Jinping is talking about the social implications. He has to keep the economy humming at a certain rate, no matter how he does it. A lot of people think that China has certain goals, and they do, like eventually making the yuan an international currency. But that is not a primary goal in the short term. The main goal of China, they have those 5-year plans, and they even talk about the yuan being an international currency maybe over the next 15, 20 years. It is not an immediate plan. So this China to crush the dollar nonsense is not what they need to be focused on now. And they know that not making moves for gold, back yuan, all this other nonsense. They're making moves to try to make sure that the economy can at least sustain a certain level of growth, which will allow the people not to riot. What else do we have today with China? We got one more here. Now, if it's not bad enough that they're pushing these tariffs, according to this article, it was in Bloomberg, that Trump is set to prepare an executive order on the telecoms. I didn't specifically call out China, but they know what they're talking about here. And it would give the Commerce Department the ability to review these types of products that come in if the country is adversarial, which now China apparently is. And they could put even bigger quotas or just ban the products coming in. And that would, again, be a big blow to China. One of China's things, I think, is by 2025, they want to have this big tech footprint. Well, if they can't export their products to the United States, that's going to slow down revenues, which will slow down the ability to do research and development. So there's going to be a deal. I think of all the deals that Trump is going to do, I think this one he's probably in the biggest driver's seat because China is in a weaker position right now. With respect to the wall, he could end up not winning that deal. I think one of the things that may happen is if there's some issue with some portion of the government that isn't open right now, and somehow something happens untoward, crash of some sort, whatever it is, I can't predict it, I'm not predicting it, but that would put him in a position where he'd have to probably reopen the government and maybe not get his wall. Now, if that doesn't happen, he still doesn't have the best bargaining position, but he doesn't have the worst bargaining position either, because he can also point to, and I think he's doing that, I just saw it tonight, if there are other incidents that happen, high-profile killings by illegal aliens, then he gets people on his side. But this is one where the balance kind of goes back and forth. I think today Trump was also talking about if the wall is immoral, he said to Nancy Pelosi, then why aren't you arguing to remove the existing portions of the wall? And I'm thinking, don't give her any ideas. That's probably what she wants. Who knows? The other point he has on his side is that what he's offered now, the DACA and the Dreamers, all of the accommodations for illegal immigrants are something that they want. They campaigned on, and they didn't campaign on not having a wall. So that puts a little extra help for Trump. And Trump actually, he needs the wall more politically than the Democrats don't need the wall, other than they think that because he needs the wall so much to get reelected, not that they need not to have the wall for their benefit, they need not to have the wall for their benefit such that Trump doesn't get reelected. We'll be following that one. So far, it's still a stalemate, but the difference is I think Trump does have the bully pulpit. Nancy Pelosi can hastily organize a conference. She's not the best of speakers. We've seen that with the response that she gave with Chuck Schumer. We've seen that before. You have to pass the bill to see what's in it. She's a skilled negotiator behind the scenes, but she's not one for rallying the troops. So the more Trump can get out there and make his position clear, he has the advantage there. All right, well, let's see what you guys are saying. And don't forget, it is Mug Week. I just declared Mug Week. Yes, it's time to get your Smaulgld mugs, Smaulgld game-changing mugs. I'm going out tomorrow, and I'm shipping mugs tomorrow. I've got a few of them. They're going out with erasers, Smaulgld game-changer erasers. That offer is tonight and tonight only, ends tonight. So if you order your Smaulgld mug, the classic or super classic only, the ones you see on the screen, you go to Smaulgld.com. Those I ship directly, so I can put notes and racers or whatever else in your package, and they ship out priority mail, 2-day shipping, insured. Any other mug that you order, I'm sorry, I cannot put a eraser in because I do not ship them out. They leave from the Smaulgld store, and those are the travel mugs, the beer stein, the beer mugs, the dog bowls, and all that kind of stuff. Great products over there as well. It's just that I can't get you the Smaulgld Game Changer Eraser offer. But I can get you, if you join the Mug Club, the Smaulgld Mug Club, or the Smaulgld SmugMug Club. The Smaulgld Mug Club gets you the Smaulgld Classic Mug. The Smaulgld SmugMug Club gets you the Classic and Super Classic Mug. You can join those over on Patreon. And there is a mug shot. That is a Smaulgld 22-ounce beer stein. Now let's see what you guys are saying over in the comments. Let's see. And Holloman, hey, it's another day. Yes, it is. You guys are freezing there in Virginia Beach. Okay. Pablo Pina is here. Prashanti Girl is here. Gang's all here. Someone must have abducted Seamus, missing in action. I wonder what the hell's happened to Seamus. He has been going away for a while now, has he? Well, Seamus is like a leprechaun. Hides under my desk. It's 28 degrees here, says Prashanti Girl. Poor Seamus. He'll be back. We will have... He's gone to join the Yellow Vest movement. Yes, he has. He's gone away. All right, what else do we got here? Pablo Pina. China firing up the printing press. $1 trillion to its market. Yes, indeed, they are. More stimulus, and more stimulus. A convention of Smaulgld. What is this? Ah, and saying, if we have a metals bubble and a crypto bubble, we should all meet somewhere. Yeah, everyone gets rich. We just get in our private jets and have a meetup. A Smaulgld. I'm up for that. A Smaulgld convention. I have to pick a place and go. Yes, a Smaulgld get-together. From people all over the world. We got Australians, we got people from the United States, all parts of the United States. We got people in the United Kingdom. Yeah, that would be nice. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Lucky is hustling me for a walk. That poor dog. Does he listen, Pablo? Does he sit there and listen to Smaulgld yelling, "Game over, game changer, woof, woof"? And then he's like, "Take me out of here. I got to go for a walk. I got to go for a walk." Where is Lucky? I should have these pictures at the ready, and I don't. I have to scroll through and find them. I have to, here's Buddy. I'll show you Buddy. He's got the Smaulgld. There he is. He's got the Smaulgld glasses there. I should put all the dog photos in a dog folder file. I haven't done so, but I like scrolling through them, but it'll be a lot easier. There's so many of them to get Lucky, easy to find Lucky. And I don't even know what I've labeled him as. Have I labeled him as Lucky? Or do I call him Pablo's dog? Where is he? Do I call him the King Doberman? I can't find him now. Who's this guy? Here's a Pug Mug. This guy is cool. There he is. Pug Mug. Now that's cute. That person is a member of the SmugMug Pug Club. He's got both of the Smaulgld mugs, and he's got status as a SmugMug Club, and he also has a pug. And that has a nice mug shot of the pug with his mugs. Dr. Seuss over here. But still, I'm looking for Lucky. I've seen, let's see, there's Buddy. There's Buddy again. There's a canary. Why do I have a picture of a canary? But I got to get you Buddy. Buddy is now anticlimactic here, but he's coming. Not only do I have Lucky, I have him a few times. And... uh-oh, there he is. This is the original Lucky. There he is. Not looking menacing at all in this one. But he is indicating that that mug is his and it belongs to him. Note the tilted head, but notice also the paw pointing towards the mug. And yes, indeed, Lucky is standing watch over his Smaulgld treasure. Okay, what else do we got here? That Smaulgld dog T-shirt won't help either. No one has bought the Smaulgld dog T-shirt or the Smaulgld pet bowls. It's very interesting. I would have thought those would have been big sellers. People are buying the travel mug, and the beer mugs are big sellers over at the Smaulgld store. I'm going to leave you the link. You can browse those products over there. And the shot glasses haven't flown off the shelf the way I expected them to. I guess it is all about the mugs and the glasses to a certain extent. China poured cement galoshes for poor Seamus. I don't know about that. Everyone loves Seamus. Yeah, dog socks are important. You got to be careful with the salt. If you're going to put salt on your, you probably know this, on your front steps, you should get a special kind of salt so that you won't think the dog is in any, but it's bad for their paws if you put the wrong kind of salt out there. Okay. Pablo Pina, China's a very socialist country, but I am not saying that's bad, but social regimes are extreme in ways. Well, the problem with socialist country, right, without getting into a discussion about socialism, is the government is responsible for a lot more. And when the government's responsible and they don't produce, or not produce, they fail to perform, then they're screwed because they're the ones who get blamed. It sounds like blaming the free market. Guys having a real cat and dog discussion over here. Andrew, the way you describe these politicians, Smaulgld, they sound like someone I never trust. Oh, of course. Who? Nancy? That explains it. Okay. Lewis, what happened earlier today? I couldn't catch the whole podcast and I can't view it now. No, what? No podcast. I hit the button and I think it was just a bunch of gibberish and running through files, and it was not a podcast. It was an accidental podcast. I think you were one of the only people, I think it was like 3 or 4 people who actually saw it. Yeah, and I saw you and Pablo, and like, why is there a Smaulgld podcast? It's not scheduled. But I guess you got the notification that I was online, or I have no idea how that worked, how that happened. But you got to be careful with this kind of stuff here with technology. You know how they say I don't have one, and I never would get one. That thing that you put in your house, Alexa, just listen. Your phone does the same thing. I'm sure it listens to you all the time. It can turn on your phone. It can turn on not your phone. It can turn on your camera. It can turn on the recording and so on. Even if you have it turned off. Same with your computer. But I think what happened was I went into broadcast mode on YouTube. I don't know how. I was just online, and just my day-to-day on my computer was just being shown. It's probably not a good thing. Okay. What else do we got here? He approved. The mug is backed by Nescafe, says Pablo about Lucky there. Prashanti girl, we only have counterfeits here in Oz. Well, we can fix that. I should start shipping out to, doing some subsidized shipping out to you there in Australia. Dano's here. Love Dobermans, great dogs. Andrew, whose dog? Oh, that's Pablo's dog. I hear you eating Cheetos. That was funny. And repeats a lot. That's my dog. Uh-oh, we got a hot mic here. I have tape over the selfie side of the camera. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Yep. All right, everyone. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening. If you're in one of those cold climes, stay warm, and we will see you tomorrow, either on purpose or accidentally. Thanks a lot. Don't forget, if you order tonight, you get Smaulgld Game Changer Eraser. Free.